Greetings, travelers, and welcome to episode 61 of WesterosCraft Walks with your excitable host, Dutchguard. And I am particularly excited today because we're going to one of the most recognizable, one of the most famous and celebrated locations in the entire A Song of Ice and Fire series, Castle Black. And here it is before me. You can even see what looks like a cloud in the distance is actually the wall. It's that huge that we've built it on the server, and I'm so excited to show it off to you guys. This is our maybe 4th or 5th version of Castle Black, and we think we've got it down to a T, and I can't wait to show it off. Before we head into the maw of the castle, that's not really a castle, that we'll get into later, I just want to tell you a little bit about the towers we're looking at the moment. There are 6 towers which we know the names of and which we've built here on the server. On our left here, with the sort of caved-in, burnt-looking roof, we've got the Lord Commander's Tower, also called the Commander's Keep. It's where the Lord Commander of the Night's Watch stayed, historically. It's recently been burned. I won't say why, for those of you that don't know, and don't spoil it for anyone else. But that's the Lord Commander's Tower. Take a look at that in a minute. We've also got the Lance, which is the tallest tower in Castle Black, which is this really tall tower here. It's sort of kind of supposed to be a watchtower to the south. It's kind of crumbling and falling apart, as is everything else in Castle Black. And also over here on our right, I'm just going to try and get a better angle here, is Harden's Tower. It's got a broken battlement at the top there, and as you can kind of see, it's got a lean, kind of like the Tower of Pisa. It's leaning to the left just ever so slightly, though it is supposed to be a severe lean. And it's probably the most ruined tower in Castle Black. There are 3 other towers, which you can't really see from this angle, so let's head in by the main road under this covered bridge here, and we'll head into the main yard of Castle Black. And you'll see here on our right something that might be familiar to you HBO show watchers. We have tried to stay, when possible, close to the HBO depiction of Castle Black, and that's kind of what this area is here. It's a facade, and kind of this stair and mezzanine level here is something we see a lot of in the Castle Black scenes of the HBO show, and we thought, well, it doesn't go against what the book says that Castle Black looks like, so we thought, why not? It looks great in the show, so why don't we build it in Minecraft? So that's what that is. Behind us here, we've got the Common Hall, which is the largest hall in Castle Black, and it's where all of the Night's Watch meet for all of their meals and kind of big meetings. Then we can see one of the other towers here, which is known as the King's Tower. It's 100 foot tall, and looks quite small compared to the wall next to it. It's got merlins around the top. We'll have a better look at that. It's got a door studded with iron, and I think the only other thing we know is that it's supposed to be for when kings visit, they stay there, though there hasn't been a king that's visited Castle Black in over 100 years. What else we got? We've got 2 more towers over here, so let's head a little bit closer to the wall, which is absolutely massive. It's out of my render distance, it's that high up, but you can see the silhouette of the very top of the switchback stair and the lift there. So let's just head up onto this platform, which is the platform for getting up onto the wall via the stair. We've also got the tunnel under the wall. I'm going to do a whole other episode on just the wall and Castle Black, so we're not actually going to get into that today because there is a lot to see and talk about in terms of its history, so we're just really focusing on Castle Black today. Here we've got this square squat tower. That is the Tower of Guards. It's the strongest, sturdiest tower in Castle Black, and it looks like it as well. I'd like to think it's made of some pretty sturdy materials. There is one more tower, which is the most mysterious of all of them. It's called the Silent Tower. We don't know where it is, we don't know what's in it, and it's got kind of a daunting name, the Silent Tower. So we've kind of built it in an inconspicuous location. You can just barely make out the roof in between the Tower of Guards and that other little daub and wattle house we're building there. Let's see, actually, if we go out to the Lich Yard, which is another feature of Castle Black, we'll probably be able to get a better look at it. So you've got these practice dummies here, which are obviously also featured in the show, and of course are mentioned, you know, as being used, and you know, sparring lessons and all that kind of thing. So if we just head out here, again, we've got all these beautiful wooden balconies and mezzanines here, and that's because that's part of the Worm Walks, otherwise known as the Worm Ways. I'd like to think of the Worm Walks as being the overground passages that are these covered passages for when it gets really, really snowy and or the weather's just really terrible, and the only way to get around the castle is by walking under these covered passages. And the Worm Ways are the tunnels underneath Castle Black, which connect all of the different towers and keeps in the castle. So let's head up this way. This will lead us to the Lich Yard. And the Lich Yard is just a fancy word for graveyard. It's where the Night's Watch have buried many of their past members and commanders and various other historic figures. Got a nice view onto the wall there. Again, apologies for the render distance, but I wanted to keep my frame rate as high as possible for this video. But anyway, you get a better look at the Silent Tower here. It's got kind of that Gothic roof. And why not? Let's start with the Silent Tower. It's kind of one of my favorite because we don't really know much about it, and wherever there's the most room for imagination tends to be my favorite tower. So let's go in here, and it's got some sparse furnishing. I think in this interpretation we decided that there would be some Night's Watchmen living in here. We actually have a special custom bed texture for the Night's Watch with these black sheets, and you'll see more of that black theme as we continue through Castle Black. We've got some banners here for the Night's Watch as well. Again, they're kind of generic use. That's not actually like the sigil of the Night's Watch. They don't have a sigil, you know. They're not sworn to any house. They're committed to protecting the realm against whatever lies beyond the wall. And, you know, there's a lot I can talk about Castle Black with, but I'm guessing that a lot of you, you know, you're already fans of Game of Thrones, and you're going to know kind of the main, you know, reason behind Castle Black. So I won't go into that too much. If you want to, just look it up. It's super interesting, or better yet, pick up a Game of Thrones and read it, for crying out loud. It's one of the best books ever. Right, so we're here in the Silent Tower. As I said, it is being used at the moment. We've got different writing desks and things around, so let's head up to the top and see what we can find up here. Right, so we're getting to part of the abandoned part of the tower here. Because Castle Black is really, really low on Watchmen at the moment, there's so much of it that is unutilized. There's so many ruined towers. You can see a hole in the roof there, which you actually can see part of the switchback stair going up the wall there. And we've got some snow coming in through that hole. And we can actually go a bit further up, so let's see how far we can actually... Oh, that just leads us to this little turret in here. So, yeah, Castle Black, it's not really a castle, it's kind of a misnomer, because it's got no walls, really. It's just got a bunch of towers and keeps. The only wall it has is the wall, that big wall made of ice you can see out of these those windows there and outside. And that's because, you know, they're not expecting an attack from the south, they're expecting it from the north, so they don't really need walls in any other direction other than north. So it's really more of a collection of buildings. It's kind of an eclectic collection. It is one of the oldest castles in Westeros. We know for a fact it's one of the oldest castles. It's got to be at least 1,000 years old. And of course, over the years, it's had repairs and different things added to it, taken away from it, things not maintained. So yeah, there is a lot of, you know, it's kind of a higgledy-piggledy, if you will. Of course, on the west and eastern sides of Castle Black, we've got two other Night's Watch castles which are out of use. As some of you may know, there are only 3 Night's Watch castles that are still occupied. We've got the West Watch by the Bridge, otherwise known as the Shadow Tower. Oh no, excuse me. West Watch by the Bridge is the westernmost castle, but on the western side of the wall we have the Shadow Tower, which is still occupied, and on the eastern part of the wall we have East Watch by the Sea, which is the easternmost castle on the wall, and those are still occupied along with Castle Black. Castle Black being right in the middle of those two. Right, so what else should we take a look at? We looked at the Silent Tower. The Lord Commander's Tower, we could have a look real quick on the ground floor. I do actually got a lot of detail about the Lord Commander's Tower because there's a lot that goes on there. You know, conversations between different characters, between the Lord Commander and you know, a certain someone. And it's not really a surprise anymore. It's Jon Snow. Jon Snow is one of the Night's Watchmen. You know, it's so hard. I want to try and make sure not to spoil anything, but come on. I mean, everyone knows that. Right, so this is one of those entrances into the Wormways, into those tunnels below the castle. And let's just go down here. This is where we've got, you know, everything and anything. We've even got like a cold storage here for some random meat that's hanging out. A big granary here for all this meat. What would you call that? Just like a cold deep storage for meat. Lots and lots of random storage and lots of confusing passages. And we've even got a few libraries down here. Actually, here's one of them. You know, libraries that just go on forever and have some of the oldest books in Westeros anywhere. It's where we have Sam. This is where he finds out more information about the White Walkers and kind of where he, you know, likes to hide away. Right, so let's take another stair up out of the Wormways down here and see what we can find when we come out. I'm thinking, just based on where we are, actually, I have no idea. This looks like an armory or potentially a blacksmith or something, just based on the kind of stuff that I'm seeing. If we go up here, let's see. By gosh, I really have no idea where we are. And, you know, that's not altogether unrealistic. Castle Black is pretty sprawling, and, of course, in its heyday, it was, you know, a real, you know, hive of activity, and now it's kind of all come to a slow halt. It's not really used all that much anymore at all. Oh, or actually, and that was the base of the King's Tower, so that's pretty cool. And it has, as I said, that iron-studded door and this beautiful big hearth. And it is kind of out of use. You've got these cobwebs up here. And yeah, I bet if we took the stairs up, we could see a lot more of the what used to be, or I guess still are, the royal chambers for a visiting king. Actually, let's go up and check it out real quick. I'm kind of curious. I haven't had a real good look at this new Castle Black since it was built. And yeah, just speaking on that, we have built so many versions of this castle because we keep getting new information about it from different excerpts that George R.R. Martin has given us over the years. As well as just wanting to improve with our improving texture pack, wanting to see how much more detail we can get into such an important build. You know, it's the one build that people will always request to see when they visit the server, so it's something we definitely wanted to do justice. So still going up these stairs. It's going to be a pretty tall tower. Oh, cool. Looks like we've kind of reached... No, it looks like servants' chambers or Night's Watch guards, you know, there again. Or maybe for the king's entourage when he stays over. So I'm looking for some more stairs here. There we go. It's a 100-foot tall tower, which doesn't sound like a lot, but we have done that to scale here. Or not to scale, we've done it, you know, 1-to-1 scale for this. This looks like a pretty nice chamber. Maybe again for the king's entourage. This looks like a really nice chamber with a really big canopy. Again, you're just going to see those black fabric everywhere because, you know, the Night's Watch, they are not beholden to any house, not even necessarily to any king. They're just protectors of the human realm. Looks like we're finding some servants' quarters up here, so I think what we saw before there was actually the king's royal chamber there. Alright, so we're going to keep heading down. We're going to try and get out of here. That is the trick, really, because once you go up, you got to go back down. And finding these stairs is not my strongest suit, as we all know. So yeah, we've got all the amenities of a standard Westeros-style castle here. We've got, you know, a Maesters and a Rookery, as I'm glad to know. And yeah, we've got an armory, barracks, you know, I guess the equivalent of a great hall. We've got blacksmiths and training areas and granary and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, actually, let's take a look at that great hall. It's actually known as the common hall. It's a great timbered keep, and apparently there's crow's nests in those rafters up there. But yeah, really beautiful timber structure, kind of, again, a mess of different colors of wood, and I do like that. Again, Castle Black has the unique quality of being, you know, not well funded at the moment. It's kind of falling apart, undermanned, undermaintained, so we do have that rough look, which just looks great. Yeah, so actually, keeping in the spirit of wanting to name the people that have coordinated these builds. This recent iteration was overseen by NickShaiB, who's one of our moderators. And before that was another moderator, and before that was another moderator. This is one of those builds that we really only entrust to the higher levels of administration, just because it takes a lot more effort to get it right, to get it just right. So that's why we trust builds like this, and what you're looking at, to the cream of the crop, as it were. Not to put anyone else down, because I think actually some of our best builders aren't moderators. Actually, probably our builders are probably better builders than our moderators, but it really takes a moderator to coordinate everything, and that's kind of the invisible structure that we're seeing underneath all of these buildings here. Right, I'm actually surprised we haven't seen anyone else flying around here. Again, it is one of those really popular warps that people want to come see when they visit the server. It's either the Wall or Castle Black or King's Landing that they want to see. But yeah, I'm guessing eventually we'll find someone wandering around, as we sometimes do. Right, so we've seen the Common Hall. Why not? Let's go up the Lance. Let's go. Do I want to? Do I? Do I? That's going to be a lot of stairs. Why not? We've got the time. Why not make this a long video? Wow, I can even find the stairs on the first floor. This is not... Oh, well, we've got stairs down to the wormways. Here we go. Nice. We've got a 3x3 spiral stair here. Very standard kind of structure that we see a lot of in Westeros, and it's especially useful for these tall, narrow towers. Because if we made any other kind of stair, it would just be too chunky, and we wouldn't be able to have floors like this, where there's actually chambers with interiors. So it looks like this is a used space. We've got some bunk beds for some of the Night's Watchmen. I'm not sure exactly what the current numbers is of people actually stationed at Castle Black, but it's definitely not more than 1,000. I think it's just it's in the hundreds somewhere. But correct me if I'm wrong, as always. I know it has changed over the series, with people being killed off and that kind of thing. Right, cool. So we've got some more levels here. Kind of interesting. Mostly storage, looks like. Lots of cobwebs, kind of all in disuse. Right, so let's keep going up and up. I kind of want to get that good view of Castle Black from the Lance's Tower, which is something I'm quite looking forward to. If we could just find the oh, this is the top. Yeah, so very cool. Is this the top? I swore I saw... No, it is the top. So this is kind of the top little storage area here. Doesn't look like it's been used in a long, long time. And yeah, I guess you kind of would keep watch out here to the south. But again, rarely used, completely, filthy and abandoned and all that good stuff. Right, so let's head back down these super long stairs. That was kind of anticlimactic. I was kind of expecting something, a reward at the end of that long climb. But hey, it's Castle Black. It's understated, underrated, and definitely, not all about that final reward at the end of the journey, because there is a lot of, dead ends down in those wormways, and lots of empty rooms in Castle Black. So just walking around here, let's see if we can find anything else interesting. I do like the use of this wooden paneling, which we originally had envisaged for a specific area of Westeros, but it's one of those things that's managed to creep its way into all kinds of builds, which I think is actually a really good thing, because it does add a level of depth that you might not be able to achieve with kind of the standard wooden plank blocks. Again, yeah, we are seeing some of those northern carving blocks, but again, not that many. Castle Black is utilitarian. It's supposed to, function as a, mostly a giant barracks for all the men guarding and station at the top of the wall there. Right, so let's head around here and get that view that we can kind of role play as Mormont or Snow, looking out on his men training on the yard here. And yeah, I'm thinking through here we're going to find, a big empty room, and more barracks here. I think this is one of the more used buildings in Castle Black. It's one of those things where, there are a few empty rooms in here. Again, that might just be because they're empty and they're not being used. But here we've got an armory, some nice helmets and swords laying about. Not all that many, as I said, Castle Black isn't all that well stocked on anything, really, other than despair. Ah, sad. Oh, and here looks like we've got a big granary with a bunch of different grain silos. So yeah, so they've got, that's the thing, really, they've got the capacity for all of that stuff. They're just not using it because it's so, you know, it's been 1,000 years since a real threat has approached the wall. So, you know, slowly it's waned and just not got anywhere. Right, what else can we do? How about the Tower of Guards? And let's see if we can find anything in there. And maybe get to the top of it. This looks, again, like a more used tower. Ooh, this must go down to the worm maze. Why not? I can't help myself. Ooh, almost. Oh no, I want to go down the worm maze. Well, I've got another granary in here, kind of a storage area. There. And yeah, you've got kind of all these little different entrances and different places to explore. Here's another kind of squat little tower here, which I think is unnamed, or who knows. It's been a while since we've built this, so I'm not exactly sure which tower is which anymore. Oh, this might even be the Silent Tower, if I'm not mistaken, which we've seen before, so let's get out of here. Oh, and here we've got, oh, hey, it's the baths! Nice. Beautiful, big, warm bath. You can see the steam coming off it, probably from a natural hot spring underneath the castle. So, yeah, very cool. We've got some snowbanks being piled up, and through here, we're probably going to come out into that main yard again. Yeah, here we are. Yeah, so, yeah, I gotta resist talking about the wall. But look at it. It's just huge! Amazing! But yeah, we're definitely going to come and revisit this place just to check out and talk about the wall, because as I said, it's got a lot of detail unto itself, and to be honest, there's a lot of detail that I haven't really studied before making this video, so I definitely want to be prepared before I go and tackle an endeavor like that. Oh, that's what I was going to do. I'm going to go find the Rookery and the Maester chambers, so let's go underneath this little covered walkway here, because I know it's just behind here. And look at that, that just looks so cool, that covered walkway with all the different textures being used to their full potential. I believe, yeah, we've got a Sept in here, different statues of the Seven. As we know, there is a Sept on site at Castle Black, but anyone who wants to swear their oaths to the old gods has to go beyond the wall to find a weirwood. But yeah, we do have a Sept here for those that want to swear their oaths before the Seven. I think this is where the Maester's chambers are. Let's go out here just to double check. Okay, I know that's it there. So it's in that wooden keep kind of thing. You can see with the daub and wattle there. So let's head inside here and see what we can find. Okay. Yes. Got some bed chambers. Really, what I'm going to find is Maester Aemon's bed chambers. That would be pretty cool. I've got the entrance down to the wormways, the tunnels down there. Don't want to go there. What we want is we want to go up. I want to go up. That's all I ever want. That's all I ever want. No, I don't want to go in the Sept. I'm not a holy man. Okay. Door? Oh, that's just for that cupboard. Upstairs. Nice. Okay, so yeah, more little sleeping quarters for the Maester's assistant or whatever. And cool, more stairs. Keep going up and up and up. And in here, maybe more kind of barracks there. In here, we've got a little private writing desk for writing home to Mummy. And more stairs. And that's our Rookery here. I don't think I'm not actually sure where Maester Aemon's chambers are at the moment, but we found the Rookery. I'm happy about that. It's quite cool. It's actually quite a large Rookery. It's kind of at least 2 levels with this all around mezzanine here. Let's see if we can actually get up there. Stairs. Of course. Stairs. Always the answer. Right, here we go. Very cool. I like this. I really like this. Kind of the all around with the sacks of grain all over the place. You can almost hear the cries for corn emanating from those cages. Right. Let's get out of here. and see if we can find anything else I can show off to you. But really, all the fun in exploring Castle Black you will definitely do on your own. There's a lot to see, especially in those wormways, which are all hidden underneath the castle. Stairs. Oh, those are the upstairs. I need the downstairs this time. Ah, there we go. Okay, yeah, looks like that's the ground floor. Or not. No, surely it is. We've got dirt. There's dirt here. Wormways again. Ah, exit. Beautiful. Yeah, so I think we've been in just about every building in Castle Black. There's obviously a lot more rooms and kind of secret things hidden around here and there to check out. So yeah, that brings us to the end of our Castle Black video. It is one of my favorite builds, not only because of how important it is in the Song of Ice and Fire series, but also because it's got a lot of really cool details that we were able to pull out of the books and the TV show and put into this build. So it was really fun, and we'll undoubtedly redo it again because why not? So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time for episode 62.